I saw him downstairs.
Where did he go downstairs? We're, he's gonna Skype in. We're gonna get him to Skype in. Okay, there he is. He's coming out of the girls' bathroom. Is that what?
Yeah, I'm trans. I'm trans, everybody. Have some goddamn respect. Like that fucking guy earlier that did Asian jokes, trans jokes, and you know he wanted to say the N-word, but he did not. Can we agree on that? I'm gonna do 2.5 hours of comedy. God, this is what it's come to, guys. Oh. Aren't you the guy that was at that other show that was taking the fucking active phone calls during the entire show that we did out in St. Charles?
Yes, sure.
You can't fucking cover that voice up, Jesus Christ. It sounds like you swallowed a voice box or somebody drop kicked you in the goddamn throat. He told me earlier he's 36 going on 98. That's what it is. The fucking oldest 36-year-old. How many buses you been hit by? Fucking just goddamn. You get a fucking good lawyer, man. That's awesome. That's my dad, everybody. So just have some respect. You know.
I don't know if it's an ability or if you have it, just you can't quit. And I've seen people quitting. And if they would have held out longer, they would have been successful. I've seen it so much. I've seen some of the most brilliant people in the world that never made it because they were quitters. Never, ever quit.
Andrew McCarthy is interested in more than just a good... Listen, he's having no trouble...
Could you say it again?
He... Speller in the white...
Run. So I dug my heels in deeper.
Have you ever had a dream that you want him to do you so much you could do anything?
A non-basketball question. Did you get a chance to meet with the royal family? And if not, how was it like having them there in the building?
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph?
The Prince and Princess of Wales.
Oh, no, I did not. I'm only familiar with one royal family. I don't know too much about that one.
Sad pony.
Hey. Yeah.
Penny.
Good evening, I'm Blake Montgomery with Logical Conservative.
Welcome back to the best episode ever. How you doing, Bryan?
Pretty good, pretty good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. We've been on here a lot lately. But no, you look as tired as I am, man. But I think we got some cool information going on. Like, okay, so what were you pointing out? Like, to start this off, what were you pointing out that I remember I was browsing like Instagram really late last night, and I saw like you take it somewhere. Where were you? What were you finding out about these fires and stuff in Los Angeles?
Yeah, dude. Okay, so the fires, there is so much going on, and I think anybody that looks into this at all in any remote sense, it's pretty obvious. And I think this is really cool because I think a lot of people are going to be waking up to conspiracy theories right now, honestly. A lot of the LA people, just so you guys know, LA City, LA County is bigger than, like, has a larger population of people than, like, I don't know, like 45 of the states that we have in the world, in the United States. I don't know if you guys know that. Do you know that?
Yeah, it's a pretty big population.
Dude, huge population. Like bigger than Arizona's entire state. LA County is bigger than the entire state of Arizona. I mean, like, people are like, oh yeah, you know, but like a lot of people think like whatever happens in Hollywood or happens in LA, it's like, it's almost like the United States is Hollywood. Well, yeah, because it is a huge population that affects the entire rest of the world, which is fascinating right now and amazing because so many people, because I'm right next to LA, dude, like the fires are like right over a hill from me. And so like Bro, like this is literally happening, and people are literally waking up as we speak to the truth of what's going down. You can't not be a conspiracy theorist at this point. Like
it's pretty cool because I remember like 4 years ago, like all my friends from LA just thought we were crazy in the Midwest and like all that. And, like, I love seeing it, to be honest. I love seeing your content and that you're from like California. I love it. I'd love to see the Californians coming around. To be honest, like, but no, I think like I can always tell when I'm being lied to though. Like I feel like almost so when the newscasters come on, I'm just like I don't know what's going on, but whatever they're saying is not true. That's all I can tell. It's all like all I feel like I can tell right now. It's like, and it's I mean it's just terrible too to think about. I mean, like all jokes aside, it's just like that's an insane thing. Like many people are displaced. I mean, like what's going to happen? They're all going to go to Texas or something. I mean, what's gonna?
Well, it's a bunch of rich people's houses right now, so like they all probably got like a second home already. Like when you think about it, so they're all probably just like. It's not like there's a bunch of homeless, displaced people. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like rich people that are like, oh, I guess we'll have to go live in our summer home. Oh, bummer. You know what I mean? It's just like, whatever. But the thing is, here's where it's fascinating. Here's where it gets really interesting. Like the fires that are happening right now, let's just lay out some groundwork. Okay. Number one, this is like, you cannot look at all the evidence and not say something unusual is going on. And I'll tell you what I figured and what I've discovered. And I'm actually going to go drive around on a scooter and go look at some of the burned houses here. Me and my friends are going to go exploring. We want to go exploring some of the questionable places where there was like human trafficking and see if we can get through the rubble and see like what we can find. But apparently there's been police arresting people that have been doing this, that have been going through that have been like checking out the rubble of houses. There's already police patrolling areas that have been burned, and they're like arresting you if you don't own the house or something.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's pretty weird. It's pretty strange, and also it's strange that there's people starting fires everywhere too.
I heard that.
Bro, there's been I don't know if you saw on my story, I've been posting videos of people starting the fires. Bro, there's like at least like 5 videos that I've come across where it's legitimately a random person is starting a fire and then had started the fire. And it's like it's happening all over the place right now. Like all over the place. And then they're starting fires and then evacuating areas and neighborhoods and then going in and looting when all the people leave. This is what's happening.
So do you think the guys starting the fire were the guys that started the whole fire? Like this has been a continuous group of like an organization, or just a bunch of like random people just keeping the chaos going?
There's so many levels to this conspiracy. Okay, we got to start at the base. The base level thing. LA announced that they wanted to become a smart city. A smart city. Okay, that was a big announcement. And Gavin Newsom talked about restructuring things, talked about rebuilding some stuff. He said that there will be some issues with buildings because of the housing developments and things in the way that they're going to have to work around, he said. Okay, well, guess what? They ain't got to work around that much of it anymore right now. Like, and he straight up talked about it. I don't know if you know, but they're going to have the Olympics is going to be hosted here. So the Olympics, yes, the Olympics is supposed to be hosted here.
Like still?
Yes, still. And so there, yeah, bro. And he just came out in a video. Gavin Newsom came out in a video and said there's a lot of people that are saying, you know, that there's some conspiracies and that we planned this and blah, blah, blah. Well, but we're coming against that. None of that's true, guys. We're just working. We're going to make the best out of the situation. We're already working with city planners and other people to build our infrastructure back and redevelop this area and blah, blah, blah. And he's like straight up like, completely bold-faced lying to everyone's faces. Mind you, he's been on videos just a few, not even that long ago, like a few months ago, I think, even talking about the space, that there was a little bit of issues with their things. But now that this convenient fire has come in place and destroyed all these homes, they can build their structure. There's been supposed to be a speed railway from where I'm at. It's supposed to go all the way through this whole area. And a high-speed railway, but it's been on pause for a really, really long time, for like 10 years. They started construction in it 10 years ago, and it's just unfinished, and they stopped because of like permits and housing like alignment stuff issues. So there's been, but now guess what? Conveniently, where they were going to put the high-speed railway, which was to LAX, would go right through Pasadena and the mountainside there. And now guess what? Conveniently, it's been a little bit more open and easier for them to get through, because all the rich houses just got leveled. So the ones that they would have had to buy back and all this other stuff, right? And so now it's going to make it much easier for them to build their high-speed railway stuff. Okay, they're going to make it much easier for them to build all of their connecting components that they were working on with that regards. Okay, it's getting ready to set up their smart city in LA. They were going to build a smart city. Okay, and they were talking about building the smart city, and they have videos about the smart city. You can look up the plans on the smart city right now. You type in LA smart city plans, and they talk about it. Okay, now that they can build back this new and better infrastructure with surveillance cameras everywhere, by the way, that's the new infrastructure, part of the smart city. There will be cameras everywhere, they said. Like, that's part of the goal. 24-hour surveillance on all corners. That's literally part of the goal, which is very, very disturbing when you look at the plans. It's actually very disturbing and alarming. So this is their plan, and they want to have it just in time for the Olympics. So they've already got stuff going to build these things back because they want to build it back for the Olympics. Where are they going to put the Olympics? Well, they want an arena, and so they're going to have an arena now. Did you know LA doesn't really have a whole lot for their arena space? Well, guess what? They can definitely make an arena now with all the flattened houses that they've been burned out. If they can buy back those properties, they can flat out set their arena there. And so there's all these different situations that have been going on from the past. Now, here's where it gets even more shady. And it's very obvious. So there's obviously the hoodlums that are going through setting fires and burning stuff down. And then there's fires in different places that are unallocated next to, there's no way the fire jumped city blocks, miles away and then started another fire. But we have multiple fires happening in multiple regions that can't be put out. Okay, this is ridiculous. But these are random people starting a lot of these fires. Okay, a lot of them. And then some of them seem to be calculated fires, like celebrities or rich people trying to burn evidence. Okay, I think P. Diddy's house actually didn't get burned, though. Did you hear about that?
No, that's funny. Okay, I was wondering. I saw the memes when it first started happening, so his house is still fine.
So P. Diddy's house apparently got a little singed, a part of it, but it actually somehow survived, which is great because that means it's justice. That means this is the Lord. In my opinion, I wonder if these fires are totally maniacal, but I almost think it might be a little bit of the Lord that'll let this happen, honestly, because the fact that P. Diddy's house didn't burn is hilarious to me. I mean, there's still a possibility that it could burn, but so this is what's going on. So the interesting part is 2 days before. Did you see the Golden Globes 2 days before? What the woman said?
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah.
Yeah, the woman goes and she goes in the announcements or what is it, call outs are on fire, and she says this. Did you see that clip?
Yeah.
And she goes, the call outs to cast and crew 11, the call outs to mom 3, the call outs to God, creator of the universe 0. And she goes, that's perfect for this godless nation. She says this, bro. The 2 days later, the biggest windstorms we've ever seen, bro. On the freeway, I don't know if you saw this, but on the freeway, the wind was so powerful, over 100-mile-an-hour winds, was so powerful it was blowing over semi-trucks. So you have fires going on in the background while there's semi-trucks all over the freeway that are just blown over. This is literally happening 2 days after she says this godless nation, which is hilarious because it's wow, well, God spoke to you, didn't he? And all these trucks just started getting blown over. And dude, the power lines got blown over. The trucks got blown over. It started fires. Boom. Here's the thing. It seems like this is God, maybe sort of event of nature that started this whole thing. But there's people that are taking advantage of that. Okay, so there are some rich celebrity people that maybe decided to burn some evidence and they're taking advantage of it. There are crazy homeless people that are taking advantage of it. There's looters that are taking advantage of it. And they're all taking advantage of this circumstance of these fires. But these fires were being set up in the first place because they wanted to burn the whole thing. And all you gotta do is go back a little bit in time to recognize this. Just about, I want to say it was it was 5 years ago that the tuna smelt became a problem. I think it's been 10 years now. Oh gosh, it's been so long. I think it's been 10 years now. The tuna smelt is what it's called. It's a tiny little minnow fish. It's this big. And they said, because of the tuna smelt, we can't hold the water in our water reservoirs. And so California has been in a drought, which we haven't been in a drought. We haven't had an issue with the drought. Good. That's great. I'm glad this is bringing out some good stuff. We haven't been in an issue of a drought whatsoever for a very long time. We've never been, actually, we didn't have to be. All of our droughts in California have been manufactured since we built the dams. So the dam and the river, like literally, we have so much water, it's not a big deal. But guess what? Gavin Newsom, a few years ago, decided we can't hold the water because of the tuna smell. And all of a sudden, and we're endangering this minnow species. So they've been draining the water all the way, all of our water reservoirs. They fill up and then they go, oh, tuna smell, drain them. And they drain them. So they fill them up and then so they try to leave them empty all the time. And so like literally, and prior to all this happening, just like a few months ago, we had water reservoirs. Time to drain them. They drained them again. Because it was the tuna smelt's endangered, guys. It's the most idiotic, stupidest thing ever you could ever possibly think of. And the water reservoirs are drained, and guess what? It makes the water and the fire hydrants and all the water in the pumps not function because we don't have enough water pressure. We should have enough water. We're right next to the freaking ocean. Like, why can't we just like stick a hose in the ocean, dude? This is ridiculous. Like, we could even use ocean water. Like, it's not a big deal. But we don't even have access to any of this because our water reservoirs our whole water system's built off the water reservoirs that they keep draining because of the tuna, because of a freaking minnow fish that somehow the dam is ruining their eco habitat, which is bull, larky, lies, and foolishness. Okay. So that's ridiculous. Okay. That's the first setup. The second setup we had was about 2 years ago when we got the fire lesbian. I think she is not the fireman, fire lesbian. So the fire lesbian chief, that woman, who, I don't know if you guys saw that. Yeah, the blue trash. We'll talk about that in a second. The fire lesbian woman. Did you guys see the interview of her where they're talking and they're asking her, well, what about people that have a concern about you carrying a man out of a fire? And she goes, and to that, did you see the video of her saying that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's hilarious. She goes, and to that I say, well, your husband shouldn't be in a fire in the first place. And you're like, what? Fire lady says this. Fire lesbian says this. And everybody's all focused on diversity hires and diversity inclusion. Bro, there are men and women, and there's a difference between us regardless of whether you think they should fit in a certain circumstance or not. Dude, there should not be, we don't need women that are statistically weaker than men, statistically, okay? We're not playing the name games. Yes, we're equal in intellect. We're equal in heart. We're equal in mind. Physically, you ain't equal. There is not a thing a girl could play that would be able to beat me in most things. Very rare. Very few girls that could beat me in any kind of challenging situation. And that's not misogynistic. That's a fact, guys. It's a fact. Most men will beat girls at any competitive thing. That's why we have to have 2 leagues of sports. Okay? So why would you think that we need fire lesbians running our fire department? Like, it's ridiculous. Like, you really are foolish if you think that that's a viable, understandable behavior to accept. No, like, women are equal in other ways, okay? Men can't have children. Women should be running schools. They should be helping care for things. They're better at these things than men are. Men happen to be better at physicality type things. That's just where we excel. Put them in that are best at that stuff, like being police officers and being firefighters. Like, they're stronger. They're like, dude, if a woman cop tried to stop a dude, like, there's a large majority in it, she ain't going to stop him. Okay, there's a large majority that you're going to lose. Like, I mean, guns are good equalizers, but, you know, for the most part, it's not, hopefully you don't have to use the gun. Like, a guy doesn't respect, men don't respect women. Men don't respect other men that they think they can beat up. If a guy thinks, like, bro, you know it's true.
That's true. That's so
true.
Bro,
in our head, if we're like, oh, I can beat that guy up, we're like, I'm not going to respect that fool. Like, that's what we think. It's the truth. It's so true. Like, we do not respect people that we think we can beat up. And funny. That's like that's like a natural level. Like, and we think those things in our head, whether we recognize them or acknowledge them or not. In our head, we're like, would that guy be a challenging fight? Oh, I think he might. Okay, then you have some level of respect for him. But to some degree, if you think he's not going to be a challenge, we just don't respect that person a lot of times. And it's the way things go, okay? So in most situations, girls can't beat us in physicality, so we naturally think, I'm not going to respect this person very much. Like, that's what ends up happening, unfortunately.
I've never once thought of that, but as soon as you said that, I'm like, that's true. Like I was just like, I'm like immediately, I'm just like, that's totally true. Like I only pay attention when somebody's like taller than me. I'm like, wait, what? Like I'm like, how's somebody taller than me? I'm like 6'2", so it's rare that somebody's taller than me. I'm like what? It throws off my entire like. You're right though. It does. Like that's funny.
That's the reality of our situation, and so like people just don't understand that through basketball. What's it say?
I wonder though, because basketball has so many rules, or baseball because you don't beat people up. Maybe it'd be a cool sport to watch when men play together. I mean, yeah, like volleyball and stuff too is like that. You know, there's a couple sports like racing, maybe. I mean, I guess that's still not fair to white people, but
the only sport that they can win in, or what? But yeah, no, this I don't know. This is the reality of our situation, okay? And so, sorry we're getting all into whatever, gender roles or whatever. But anyways, they put this woman in place for DEI, diversity hires. This is nonsense, guys. This is foolishness. This is ridiculousness. This is nonsense. And I think the world's going to wake up from this because of what they're seeing. I think if LA wakes up, the rest of the world is going to go with it. Like, and so there's a lot of people right now that are just like, boom. Something's not right. Something's not right. So we've got the railway they're trying to make. Versus live stream on Rumble. Awesome. So we got the rail. Yeah, welcome. We've got the railway they're trying to make. We got the LA smart city they're trying to build. They've got the Olympics ring that they're trying to set up and the Olympic stuff that they're trying to build in this regard. Okay, we've got all this stuff being set up. All right, and then we've got fire situation. We've got fire lesbians being hired. We've got literally, we've got what is happening after that. We have the fire brigade. We got the environmentalists telling people no longer to set up brigades because it's endangering the species. So they stop setting up brigades and they stop setting up channeled or controlled burns. Okay, so we stopped doing controlled burns. I want to say 4 years ago, 3 years ago, I forget. But we stopped doing controlled burns. Every major city does controlled burns that has a dry environment. Almost every city in the world does controlled burns. Okay, every country does controlled burns, except for certain areas that are environmentally problematic. Guys, bro, you have to do controlled burns in environments where it's dry and arid and there's a bunch of stuff going on because naturally there's fires in these areas. And so by moving in society and people, we eliminate the fires, but the fire buildup still exists. Okay, so lightning usually strikes these areas and little fires happen. Okay, and that's kind of how it happens. But we've affected the environment so much so that you can't not burn stuff. You got to have controlled burns. We stopped the controlled burns because environmental. We've drained our water because of environmental tuna smelt. Okay, we stopped setting up brigades. We stopped setting up fire channels or little trenches that they would dig and stuff. We stopped all of the fire management. And then a year, not even 6 months before, the largest defunding platform to the fire department happens. The largest deplatforming, $17.6 or $17.8 million gets defunded from the fire department in LA County. Okay, the only thing higher than that, I believe it was the roads, which is laughable because, and then the only thing lower than that was, right below that was sanitation, street sanitation. You got to see the graph. The graph is laughable. They increase spending on just stupid stuff on literally city council. We increased money spending on that. And we decreased $17.6 million on fire department reallocation of funds that went from the fire department, the second largest defunded platform. The only thing bigger, I believe, was streets, streets. And if those of you that have been to LA lately know that sanitation and streets are the worst things you should defund. It is the biggest problem in San Francisco right now, too. It's just that people are taking dumps on the street. You walk around and people are pooping on the street. Okay, they're doing that stuff in LA, too. And it's terrible. And we defund sanitation and streets? Are you freaking kidding me? What on earth was the purpose for defunding these programs? This is just the most obscene defunding system in place. All this was money reallocation is really all it was. It was just money going from pockets to people to other people. Because even with all the street funding, the money that was going to the street funding, it still was producing no results because the streets of LA are trash, guys. It is terrible. It looks like a freaking apocalyptic scene when you walk down certain streets. It looks like you're in the apocalypse. It looks like you're in zombie land. Like, straight up, dude. Like, you just walk down certain streets by Skid Row and you feel like you're in a movie set, but it's not movies. It's people are bleeding on the street, doing drugs, like doing things that are so inappropriate. Skid Row is insane. Now, they've since cleaned it up somehow. I don't even know what they did with all the people in Skid Row. They just like moved it, but I know it's come back. It's already come back slightly in certain areas. But they tried to clean it up for a while because it got so bad, dude. It was just like people were like killing dogs and like cooking them on the side of the street. It was like you walking into like a war zone of like drug addicts and demonized, demon-possessed individuals. It's really sad. It's very sad, but it's very disturbing. I don't know what they did to a lot of these people, to be completely honest. I don't even know where some of these people went. A lot of them just went missing all of a sudden in random places. But surprise, they're not there anymore. So regardless, this is all gone. All that stuff's gone away. But there's still, that's the thing they defund the most. And there's still all that stuff still happening in different areas. And it's growing back again. It's like a little fungus that keeps growing back. And so they cut it out and then it's coming on back. This is the departments they defund though. This is so, and then the week that it happens, the woman in charge, the mayor, happens to be in another country receiving some award. What a joke.
Dude, her video was nuts too. Like her like talk, she's like smiling with her hands in the pockets, like, hey guys, I heard you guys lost your house or something. It was just like such a weird, like, your mayor creeps me out, or not your mayor, I guess, but the mayor of LA creeps me out, man. Like, it's a.
Bro, it's so disturbing. She is so disturbing. And it's just like, bro, I think so many people are waking up to how many things that are going on. And this is the strongest point at all. A week before, State Farm cancels everybody's insurance, the fire policy, like, and then reinstates their insurance, but not for fire damage. A week before. You got to be kidding me. You have to be kidding me. Like, yeah, this is not...
That and like the water, and then like the comment about the blue trash can. So I don't know if this is true, but I was hearing a lot of the same things in Maui about how like anything with like blue roofs was like being spared. I don't know if that's still true. I don't know if that's true, but I was hearing that, like, at least.
We'll go into that. We'll talk about that in a second here, and I'll tell you because I did an experiment. I actually have a blue laser, high frequency laser that I tested and did some theory testing with that as well. Surprisingly, but the very interesting part is like all of this stuff adding up, the mayor being out of town so she can blame it on, oh, well, I wasn't there when it started, so I just was not able to properly manage it. It's not my fault, guys. I wasn't there. Like, to like divert the blame. Oh, Gavin Newsom was too busy too. Oh, it just wasn't our fault, guys. It was uncontrolled circumstance. And now they're all stepping in like they're heroes or something. And it's just like, bro, you guys let this happen. This worked out perfectly in your convenience. But here's the biggest problem at all. And I don't know if it's the lasers are the issue. But what is a bigger issue is PG&E, guys. And this is so we've got dry brush. They're told to destroy, get rid of, burn. The insurance cancels the insurance for everybody. Okay? Like, this is such a joke that it is so obviously planned. Or they knew that it was going to happen regardless. Whether it was planned or whether they knew, it was very, very obvious that there was poor management going on, because how else are you going to plan to cut your insurance a week before this happens unless you knew somehow there was going to be a problem? Okay, they had tons of down power lines, and the environmentalists don't let in LA, they don't let them change the power lines so there's all these decrepit wooded power lines that are just like old wood rotted, and we're not allowed to change them out because of environmental safety whatever concerns. We're not allowed to change the rotted wood lines out. So the rotted wood power lines have to like stay there, which is insane because they won't let them change it because of environmental care concerns. You gonna say something?
No, I was just listening. That is insane. I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of crazy stuff that adds up, man. Like, so about your experiment with the blue laser, explain that to me. That's very fascinating.
Okay, so the blue laser things. Here's the deal. There is technology that exists with lasers. All right. I happen to have a UV blue laser. And I'm a bit of a scientist as well. I'm not just somebody that casts out demons and crazy and study these things. But I can go get it actually and show you, but it's pretty powerful laser. I can set things on fire with it. I can burn stuff. It's very, very powerful from a distance. You can like light things on fire with this thing. It's very intense laser beam. It's like metal, aluminum. It's like this fat. It's epic. Okay. So the that beam, so everybody's like, oh, the blue doesn't burn, the blue doesn't burn. I tested it with my blue laser. It burns. It does burn. So I can burn blue things regardless. In fact, blue is actually a darker color, so it's actually can burn pretty well. So there's a lot of people that are like, blue doesn't burn, but it's not necessarily the case. There could be something else going on with the color blue that has a resistance to fire because it's dark. And it also could be because it's like black also happens to have a resistance to certain fire to some degree, but it also absorbs heat. So blue is like right in the in between of absorbing heat and also not necessarily reflecting it. It's also the slowest color on the wavelength. I think there was definitely lasers involved when it comes to the Maui fires. Like almost certainly there was lasers because there was like cars burnt in a field with nothing around touching it, which is just absurd. And they had melted aluminum at a certain point, which is very, very absurd. I think that was for sure what could potentially be going on in those Maui situations. I don't know if the laser thing was exactly what was happening in LA, but there is a much bigger culprit and it's on everyone's house right now and everybody should be very more concerned with it. It's your stupid smart meters. That's what's been going off, bro. And in the neighborhoods, there will be houses where all the houses are burned and the house without the smart meter is the only one unburned in LA right now. Mm-hmm. And the smart meters all have lithium ion batteries in them that explode when compromised, will explode up to 11 or 16,000 degrees heat, bro, inside everyone's smart meter right now. And I think this is a really important message everybody needs to know. It's your smart meter that's setting the fires. Bro, if PG&E would have just shut the power off for like 3 days, the fires would stop. If PG&E just said, hey guys, everybody, you're going to not have power for 3 days in these areas from this grid forward. This is where the fires are at. We're shutting the power off because the wind is blowing the power lines. It's blowing the fires. It's causing more fires. We're just going to stop the power. They could shut it off and the fires would stop. They would be so instantly stopped, but they're not shutting it off. And here's what's happening. There's actually multiple people that are showing the houses where fires were started and then the people are able to put it out. And it started with their freaking smart meters. The smart meters are exploding from overheating or whatever's going on the power grid and they're making some excuse, but it's like chain reaction. Boom, 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 boom. And so it's like lighting the houses on fire. So the smart meters are where all the fires are starting from in a lot of these places because it's like there's like an overload of the power and something else happens and then boom, they explode. So if you got a smart meter on your house, you have a bigger problem than anybody else dealing with this stuff because whatever's in that smart meter, that lithium ion battery can be controlled as an explosive and it can blow up. And that's what's been happening in LA right now.
I did not hear that. That's interesting. That makes a lot of sense too. I mean, that's just nuts, man. Like, like the whole thing. I don't know what to think right now, but I mean, there's a lot of information coming in still, and it's just super fucked up, and like, I don't know.
It is. It's very fascinating. The blue stuff wasn't happening as much. Hello.
Yeah. Oh, what up?
Hey, how's it going?
Aren't you in LA area?
I'm in Hollywood.
Dang, do you smell the ash?
I smell the ass. It fucking reeks, dude. Like it smells like shit, bro. Like honestly, the air quality is fucking trash. Like, there was a couple of like little tables on the boulevard that were giving out free masks, but like, I just noticed I felt very dehydrated during the fires. Like my body.
Can you smell the smoke though?
Like my sister lives like not even a mile from me, and she had to evacuate to my house because she could see the fire on the hill from her room. And she would look out her window and the whole hill was on fire. Like she was scared. She's like, dude, my place might burn down. Like it's getting really fucking close. And And yeah, but you know, I've just seen too many videos of like them starting at the same time, people from being caught from like a satellite camera of people starting the fire. So I don't think that this happened naturally personally. Like I think that this was something similar to COVID that was like pre-planned or has some sort of other agenda, much like the Hawaii fires. You were mentioning the blue stuff not catching on fire. Yeah, I saw that too. And that's just another weird coincidence that just doesn't make any sense to me. So
yeah, the blue stuff in Hawaii, it does seem like it was related potentially to whatever wavelength laser is going on. At least the blue laser that I had could light blue stuff on fire. So I don't know if that's every blue laser, and I don't know if there's different blue laser frequencies. Somebody mentioned that the frequency of the blue light color is wavelength is 666. I don't know if that's true. I think that's pretty
that would be
random and
interesting.
silly. Yeah. I think that's pretty random, but I don't know. I mean,
but the thing is, the frequency of blue itself is actually associated with Archangel Michael, which is like an angelic being that's supposed to be like for protection. But
I don't know. Who knows? Whatever kind of occult. Who knows? Whatever stuff. They say all kinds of things in the occult. But so like what is interesting is like the laser thing. I don't know if that was what was used here. There definitely was lasers in the Hawaii fires. There was definitely lasers being used because people caught videos of it. And it was very clear. But you know what they did catch videos of in LA, however, was this weird black floating tentacle object thing in the sky. Did you guys see that thing?
I have not.
The day before the fire, somebody filmed some black looking, tentacly looking weird float. The guy was like, "What is that, a kite?" He's like, "That is so weird," and it was moving
so obviously,
back and forth.
There's been a lot of UFO, more UFO sightings.
Yes, but this thing was like nothing I've seen before. It just looked like a black, like oval with like tentacles like hanging down, and they were like moving, and it was like, I don't even know how to describe it, and it does look pretty legit. It doesn't look CGI. It doesn't look fake.
Yeah.
It looks pretty.
Hi, Joe.
What up, Joe?
Yeah.
Hi, Joe.
Interesting. I mean, like,
it looks pretty strange.
Yeah.
I like how
So,
these shows like we go from talking about alien tentacles in the sky, so it's like oh hey Joe. Anyway, back to the
It's Joe Schmo. Hey, I know that guy. Joe
back
Schmo.
to the world ending around us after we say our pleasantries. Just funny, like Jenny was saying something. Brian was talking about this earlier too. Like I saw something about a planned railways matching the fire area. That's what Brian was bringing that up earlier. Like the top of the show, there's like apparently that whole valley that was burned up was like where they wanted to like Pasadena area, right? You're saying?
Yeah, they were saying bringing the railway down the one, close down to the one. They wanted to bring it through, and so the fires where they burn them was like where they were debating wanting to put the rail station, but the houses were just too expensive to be bought up. So the high speed railway. Do you remember them putting that in? Well, they paused it all. They put it all on halt. And so they were going to like try to do it apparently in that area or whatever. And Gavin Newsom's already saying, I've got new plans and already got plans in place to make things better and make things smarter and whatever. And, bro, I think everybody is waking up to what's going on right now. I think everybody is like literally like, okay, this is so obviously planned. The fact that they canceled the fire insurance the day before or the week before,
that's not
crazy.
Yeah.
That is so obviously suspicious. They drained the reservoir like a few weeks before, and then 6 months before they stopped. They sold, and here's the other thing. They gave all of our excess firefighting equipment to Ukraine. Did you know this? They gave our excess firefighting equipment to Ukraine.
Of course. Oh my God,
it's so absurd.
Gets better, doesn't it?
Yes.
Just keeps getting fucking better. Just the fuck you just gets fucking bigger and better. And they really, it's like, God damn, I feel like I'm living in a house with abusive parents. It's like, they're like, treating everybody else really great, but then when it comes to their own family, they just shit and crap all over them. Like, it is very narcissistic, honestly. But, I think that something that, like, so with my own spiritual work, like, some of my spirit guides, like, I know you'll probably have an opinion on this, and that's totally fine. I respect everyone's opinion. Yeah. Okay, this is totally cool, and I get it. Some of my spirit guides are extraterrestrial beings in higher dimensional realms that I've known in past lives when I lived on other planets. And like some of the psychic downloads I got, like maybe like a week or two ago, was that there's going to be more UFO sightings because ETs want us to know that they exist, and they want to build some sort of repertoire with us, but our government is fighting it. And so the government's going to do everything that they can to try to like make aliens look scary or that we're being invaded. And here's the thing, like if you really think about it, if there are aliens, and I'm not crazy, and I'm talking to whatever, some ancient beings that like helped with the evolution of humanity, like they already have the power to take over and fucking blow us up. And if they were going to do that, I feel like they would have already done that by now. Like if they are actually real and they are that much more advanced than us, like to them, we're like ants in a fucking ant cage. Like so it just seems like if you're that evolved, you would reach this point of like not being so barbaric and actually like having like a level of empathy where like that's not your goal, is to take over a planet, or you know what I mean? Like they're kind of like evolutionarily past that. And I do think that the government does work with aliens and gets technology and reverse engineers UFOs and shit like that. And but I think that there is going to be almost like this spiritual war where like, you know, these ETs are going to try to like expose themselves more and more, and they are. And then ever since I got that download, I've been seeing so many more videos lately of people who are like, holy shit balls, there's some weird UFO shit going on, like way more than before. And like, I think they're preparing us for some sort of like contact, or I don't know.
That seems like seems like you might be right to some degree. But the interesting part is like, you know, so there was 3 sightings of UFOs during these LA fires. 2 of them, they were white UFOs. They were white little balls of light that flew over the city and moved. It almost looked like a bug. It could have almost been like a bug so close to the camera, but it was out of focus. But it was clearly flying through the smoke in one of them and around the city. And so that happened. There was 2 of the white little fly things and then there was the black tentacly thing that happened the day before over the city that people thought was a kite. Okay? Yeah, it was a black tentacly looking thing. It was definitely creepy looking
some
video.
Horror film shit. Oh wow.
Yeah, and so that happened like.
Find that video. Let's pull it up. I need to see.
I don't know if you can. Yeah, can you pull it up? I mean, I can send it to you. Oh my god. Yeah, what's that religion of like atheists? It's called like the flying spaghetti monster. That's what it was. It was a flying spaghetti monster for sure.
It's real. I knew it. This whole time.
Absolutely a flying spaghetti monster for sure. That's kind of how it kind of looked. But the interesting part is like, yeah, maybe they're not aliens at all, but the first contact of drone technology from the future, and as we progress into the new decade, we see more and more from those future points time travel.
I mean, that's also
really complicated.
I feel like there's so many possibilities at this point.
I feel like
it could be us. Could be us from the future.
Like, but I would imagine if we could go, and if time travel was developed and we can go in the past, I would think that we would make it illegal to go into the past, because it could disable or inhibit our ability from ever developing future time travel devices.
But
so
I
feel like
fuck up the timeline immensely. Who knows what the ramifications of changing certain events would even be? It would create some sort of like time loop or some sort of weird time paradox or.
Yeah, but let's go back to the alien thing, because you mentioned a really interesting point in regards to hearing from the thing. Because so side note, I'm obviously of the understanding that I think that aliens are demons. Okay, and I'm like,
I knew you were thinking that the whole time she was saying that.
Yeah,
I mean, I already knew he was going to say that.
Yeah, of course.
I respect your opinion.
It's totally fine, but we don't know, right?
I can't say what it is or isn't either. Like, I'm
exactly,
not
you don't know. I don't know
because I don't. I really don't.
Exactly.
Know. Like,
that's the truth, and that's where you should be, because the reality is you don't know what you're listening to. I don't know, because I'm not you. I didn't hear the thing you were hearing. So like, we don't understand the things we're perceiving in this realm of reality. Like when it comes to the supernatural woo-woo. Okay, we don't know.
Definitely.
We could be totally off, dude. We could be completely off. Yeah, we can be. Our theories 100%. Can be completely the opposite of what we think, even. Okay, but here's the thing: if we do, we can kind of presume some perspective of what you think. And you mentioned a good point. Like, if the aliens were so strong and powerful, they would just obliterate us, or they could just make themselves known. But they don't. But they don't do that, which makes you wonder: are they really that powerful? And that makes and because like if they were, why wouldn't they just like show up and then poof the sky and be like, we are your overlords, we created you. Alien. Like, why wouldn't they just do that, right? Why wouldn't they just say, hey guys, we want peace in this world. We are your friends. Listen to us. Stop fighting. We are here to give you peace, right? Here is technology that you no longer have to fight for power. Here is endless water. You know, like giving us like, why wouldn't they just do that, right? Okay, but it's fascinating because, and then the fact that they say that they're fighting against our government, like how strong is our government that they could fight these invisible entities, these alien things that we don't know, but like yet they can't even manage a forest fire and all this other stuff. Like obviously, there's some faults in our government.
Maybe they have some sort of a pact with them, or like I would imagine it would be like maybe. Because from what I've like heard other psychics talk about, there's like a galactic federation of like
I've heard about
bunch
this.
of different like aliens, and like they've kind of made this rule. They're like, okay, unless they're about to blow the world up, we can't interfere. Like we can't, like we have to let them learn on their own. Otherwise, like they're never gonna learn the lessons that they're being forced to figure out. Like, you know what I mean? But like, so I don't know. But I mean. I have no idea.
Well, you got to think like about it. And there's more to think about. Because like, if they were really that benevolent, why wouldn't they just stop us? And if they were really that good, why wouldn't they just help us? But they don't. All they do is watch us. All they do is watch us.
Maybe we're one big experiment. What if we're the experiment?
Well, we kind of are.
And that's why they're not intervening. They're just kind of like voyeuring. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of are an experiment, dude. And so, like, in a regardless, like, even
like
to God,
like
God, we're kind of like an experiment, right? If the Lord created us, we're in this experimental space to do whatever we do here, right? And so, like, you know, studying the thing is like looking into like what demons do. Like, demons are in the business of deceiving us and manipulating us,
definitely,
and getting us to channel them and to speak to them and talk to them. Anytime you're channeling something into that realm of the reality that you don't know what we're getting. We don't know what's coming through and talking to us. That's why a lot of like Christian people will be like, hey, don't do that. Like, we'll say don't do it because like you don't know what you're talking to. Like, and if you don't have that understanding, but you can listen to the things that they're telling you, and you might be able to go, okay, well, that doesn't line up with this. That doesn't line up with this. That means maybe these things are lying to me. Maybe I'm being lied to. Maybe I'm not being revealed the truth. Because like you're saying you're good, but if you're really that good, why aren't you helping? And if you're saying you're fighting the thing, but here's the deal. When it comes down to aliens, when it comes down to demons are limited by the power that we give them. Demons are limited by the authority of Christ. Demons demons want to appear, but they can't appear because they are afraid of those that know the authority of Christ to cast them out and to send them into the abyss. So they can't do things like that. That's exactly.
Do you think God is demons? Do you think God is the angels and the demons? Because I mean, if God is everything and God created everything, like wouldn't He have had a hand in creating demonic entities, or like having some sort of purpose for them existing? Because if they're so bad and God is almighty, like couldn't He just fucking be like, okay, you're out of here, don't exist, bam? Like
you can. I mean, that's what but I think it's part of the test. I think He wants to test our souls and see how we respond in like different situations. It's like Willy Wonka. It's like Willy Wonka the Chocolate Factory. It's like the Devil's is like Smithers, the guy that keeps trying to buy your golden ticket, and like that's what it seems like. Because at the end they're like friends. Like even in the Book of Job, they seem like friends. Like they seem like they're wagering over Job. I mean, they're betting. That's betting. Yeah, that's what it seems like. So it's like I mean, they have some kind of connection. He's his favorite angel at one point. So I mean, in a way, you might still kind of be just because of like the challenge aspect to it. But I mean, I don't think the devil's good for us. You know, I think like good to us.
God is making a bet on us. Yeah, God is making a cosmic bet on humans right now. Did you know that? I mean, like there is a bet that God has wagered against Satan and the dark entities, and said like, I'm gonna bet that these humans are gonna love me, serve me, and see that I'm good and love them. And Satan's like, well, I'm gonna bet they're not. And so there is a bet going on right now. That's literally what's happening. And God doesn't care about God cares about every one of us, but he's not so concerned with those that don't want to be righteous. Like, it's like, dude, if you don't want to be righteous, go with Satan. He's like, go there. But I'm the one that's good. I'm the one that brings it all the good and brings all the love and the life. Like, hell is really a place of existence. Think of hell like this. Hell is an environment where the most powerful survive and do what they will. There is no moral compass. There's no God governing. There's no value in it. Hell is an environment where the morality and goodness of God has been removed, and all of the people in hell are doing what they want to one another in just an endless perpetual place of suffering and pain. Okay, and so everybody is just raping everybody else. Everybody's just killing everybody else. Everybody's ripping each other's flesh off.
Like a fun sex party? Like, come on.
I don't think ripping your flesh off of you is sounding fun. No, there's people in hell that are lighting other people on fire while this is all happening. So it's like, there's no control of what is going on there. It's a place without any moral compass. So like, people are like, here, like, yeah, let's just have a sex party. Sounds fun. Blah, blah, blah. Like, right. But when you get to hell and they're really taking advantage of what they want, the only reason why you're not being murdered while you're having these sex parties is because there's some moral, ethical compass that those people hold to. But when you go to the hell realm and there is no God and there's no moral, ethical compass, they're going to choke you till you die and then rape your dead body. This is what's happening in hell. Okay.
Oh, wait, if you're already in hell, aren't you already dead?
No, you die over and over, and you come back and you die over and over, and you suffer. Yeah, bro, it's not fun. It ain't a place you want to go. It's a place of weeping and gnashing of teeth. It says you'll long for death but never find it. Like,
Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm going to the other place. I'm going to the other place.
There we go. Yeah, that's right, bro. That's right. Yeah, it ain't the place that. And people try to like jokingly, they try to make it sound like it could be fun, but like, it's not a place of. It's a place of judgment, guys. It's not, and it's not. People think it sounds really, really cool, like cruel. So hell's like, oh, forever. It may not be forever. You may go to hell and suffer your punishment for all the pain that you caused for an allotted amount of time and then just cease to exist. It's possible that God will just cease you to exist and be kind and be kind about it. It's possible. I'm not saying he will. Okay. That's a possibility. But for the most part, I wouldn't count on it. I mean, because there's also, it says it's a place of burning and forever and ever. But the reality is, like, you may only go there for like the pain and suffering that you've caused. Okay. And that's it. It's judgment. It's freedom. It's righteousness. Like, if some person comes up to another little kid, punches him in the face, and then slaps him and then rips his clothes off, you're going to want justice for that guy. Are you not? You're going to want it. You're going to be like, bro, who is that guy that just did this to some random little kid at the park? Let's go string him up. You know what I mean? Like, you want justice. That's what hell is. It's justice.
Balance with karma and justice, karmic justice for people who are do heinous acts like that or murder or whatever.
Well, that's the thing.
They should answer to something or someone, you know?
It is justice, but that's the thing. People don't recognize what justice is. Like, you don't understand it. Like, our subtle behaviors and the things that we do and the way that we behave is literally because of wickedness in our hearts and selfishness in our hearts. We see it as like, oh, it's acceptable because they're wicked too. But like, imagine reversing yourself into an environment. Like, let's say, like, we take an average person that thinks they're a good person, that does a little bit of selfish stuff, and, but for the most part, they're happy and good. Let's say we put them in a perfect environment where everybody is completely selfless, and they love one another. They don't do anything but serve each other, okay? And you drop a normal person from our society into that environment, they're going to look like the most wicked thing on the planet Earth. Because they would be in that environment. Because even though they're a little bit selfish, everyone around them is not selfish at all. They're serving everyone each other. It's going to throw off the whole balance of the environment. It'll throw off the whole balance when one person is like, serve me, while everybody else is not serving each other. But like, because in that environment, if everybody's serving one another, but they're not serving themselves, they're getting served by all the people around them, right? So they don't need it. But the minute you drop one person that's toxic, that's serving themselves in this perfect environment where everybody's serving each other, it throws off the whole system. It throws off the whole balance. It begins to like, sense. He's in a position to serve someone else and he doesn't do it because he's selfish, and that person gets hurt. And
or
now that
he wants everyone to
perpetuates.
treat him like he's God, which is almost like sacrilegious in a way if you're gonna like have people praise you over anything or anyone else. Like,
Yeah. So, well, I mean, like, and so here's the thing. Demons are afraid of humans. Demons are afraid. And so I'm of the belief that demonic spirits are the Nephilim. There are the fallen angels. They are what UFOs are. And I'm of the belief that they are talking to people all the time. When people are consulting their spirit guides or whatever, like, those in my belief are like, hey, that's probably something you don't know. And whether it's a demon or a fallen angel or a Nephilim, I don't know if it's good. I don't think it's good, but that's just, again, my opinion. And so, like, but my perspective is like, hey, like, and the reason why is because of the way these things behave and the things that they lead people into and the things that they say and the things that they reveal, because they reveal stuff. They really do reveal stuff. People are really talking to these entities. Like, you're really having experiences with these things. And so, like, there is some genuineness to the experience, but, like, to validate whether the experience is good or not, none of us can really tell. But we can go off their behavior. So, like, you saying that it's saying our government's stopping them from communicating is a kind of a stretch, because if they're really that powerful, our government wouldn't be stopping anything. Like so it seems silly to me. But you know what would make sense is if they were a demon, they would be being stopped by the authority of Christ by default, because there's still Christians in the world that are able to say, hey, in the name of Jesus, bow your knee, and the demon will have to obey. And so, like, there is an authority that Christians carry that not a lot of Christians have forgotten this authority, but back in the day, they were very much aware of it. They were so much aware of it. And, like, back in the day, like, if you look in old books, Christians knew how to cast out demons. They knew how to deal with demons. Like, it was common knowledge to cast out. They knew what the term bless you comes from when you sneeze? It came from the understanding that a demon left somebody really fast.
There was a demon in you.
Yeah, a demon left you. But guess what? You know what's funny? When I cast out demons, people throw up, they cough, they burp, they do all these things. So, like, when I am talking to someone, they'll just start burping uncontrollably. And that's because of the demons leaving them. But I would say, it became a religiosity to the term where we now say, oh, when somebody sneezes, a demon left you really fast. Ironically, I don't think I've ever seen a demon be sneezed out, but that's where the concept comes from. So they would say, bless you. But really, you should be saying bless you when people cough or choke or sneeze or throw up. Like, that's a demon leaving you. Like, for reals, I deal with this. And so, like, that's where this kind of stuff stems from. And our whole of society was aware of this. But something has happened where our society has gotten, like, amnesia and forgotten about the truths of demonic possession and demons being cast out and all this stuff. And it's been masked over. And we've had this big gray washing area of our minds. And things have been, like, taken away from our perspective. And we don't know anymore. So we don't even understand what's going on. Yes.
We've been brainwashed over generations, for sure.
Yeah, and that's why it can be dangerous. Like, I know a person right now that was talking to spirit guides like you were doing, and eventually the spirit guides, like, made themselves known, and they possessed this girl. Okay, and I know. Oh yeah, and then she said she couldn't control her body. It started talking through her mouth. She said it went from love and light to, like, immediately, this is dark, and she didn't know what it was. But she couldn't make the distinguishable difference until the bad thing happened. And I know another friend. I have another friend of mine, a really close friend, and her husband and her, they would do blood ritual magic with her period blood and, like, Ouija board stuff and all kinds of, like, disturbing things and whatever. And, like, bro, when she did this stuff, she thought it was fun and cutesy and whatever. Dude, she full on used her boyfriend to channel demons. And he got fully possessed, and it's a very sad story, honestly. She started astral projecting and going places. She met Anubis, the spirit. The dog had a demon of the dead. I know it sounds crazy, but she met Anubis, and Anubis, I have talked with Anubis, okay? I've spoken to that demon through her boyfriend, who straight up possessed him, and now they were together and they had a child, and now they're separated, and all kinds of terrible stuff is going on. This man gets full on demon possessed and starts growling and speaking different language sounding stuff out of his mouth. Like, bro, he is not a normal stable person anymore. He, like, will flip between two people. Like, you would quantify this as schizophrenia. He got it from doing channeling. He was doing what you were doing. And all of a sudden, boom, it just one day, wrong message came through, and now he's got a demon in him that he's dealing with that literally is the spirit of Anubis. And he, like, has, like, wanted to, like, murder people, and, like, bro, he's not stable anymore. And it's, like, it's really bad. And this is not, like, his character. He didn't seem like this at all at first when she started doing this, but it came out through doing the channeling stuff, because she started channeling these spirits and talking to them and being friends with them, and they seemed all friendly and nice, and then all of a sudden one day, boom, they switch. Because once they got you on the hook where they know that you're stuck, and they've got enough hooks in you, you're like a fish, and every time you do it, they put another hook in your mouth, and another hook in your mouth, and another hook in your mouth. And you got enough hooks in you, then they're like, let's catch this
You're
fish.
giving them your power.
Boom.
Yeah.
Yeah, the more you channel them, the more you're giving your power to them. The more when you channel these entities, you are giving over your authority. And just so you know, like that's why they call it like programming, guys. Like it's programming for a reason. Like you watch the television program. It's program. Do you know what gram is? It's grimoire. Programmer. Programmoire. It's it's saying pre-occulticness. Okay, and so they are programming you, literally, they're pushing their occult magic onto you. They are programming you into a perspective where they can get a hook in and control you. And so when the day comes, they decide to pull the hook back. And bro, I've seen it so many times. People that do this stuff, so many times they end up channeling. But like, I mean, everybody's got to learn and know for themselves to like see what's going on, you know? So like, just pray that the Lord keeps you. I pray right now in the name of Jesus that he protects you through whatever lesson you're gonna figure out when you meet these things.
I mean, I still for me, like whatever spirit guide I choose to communicate with, like I still put God and Jesus above any of them, like, because I think that as long as that my connection with Jesus and God is more important and like meaningful and safer. So like, I still feel like I have a really strong connection with the Holy Spirit in general. But
what is a spirit guide though? Like, is it because the Bible tells us, God tells us directly not to contact spirits of the dead. It's called necromancy, and it is an abomination to the Lord, it says. So if we're talking to dead spirits of the past, you ain't supposed to be doing that. And then number 2, it says that when a person dies, it says they go to heaven or hell. Like that's it. And they leave this earth and they're no longer here. So you can't communicate to them. So it literally says, according to the biblical context, you can't talk to dead people. And if you are talking to a dead person, it's literally the demons that followed that dead person around that have got the memories of that dead person. That's what it is. And so like, that's what's happening when we say spirit guides a lot of times, because it's a person of the past that's against what the biblical context of God has told us not to do. He straight up told us don't do that. And so like by doing it in some perspective, we're going against God, and it's opening you up to demonic influence and demonic things to affect you technically. So it's like, it's hard to say, hey, like, I mean, like, it's hard to say that, you know, if you're talking about the biblical God, if you're not talking about the biblical God or whatever your God is, you know, I guess it doesn't really matter. But at the same time, if we go from the biblical context of who we understand God to be, then, oh, it's a cute little kitty. So if we go from the biblical context, like that's what I would say, like, don't do that, because God and the Holy Spirit is like, they say it's an abomination, like when you do these things. So it's like really bad for you to channel this stuff, because you don't understand what you're doing when you're channeling. Really, people don't get it. Like I said, and the guy now, the dude that was channeling the spirit of Anubis, bro, he's toast, man. Dude's brain isn't even there, man. Like, bro tries to be normal for like a minute. He's like one person, and then boom, he's totally a different guy, and he's just like a psycho. And then Anubis will start talking to him, and he can't even control it. And then he'll come to and not even remember what he said. Bro, it's scary, dude. It's really scary. And he was channeling spirits just like you. And he was, and they were friendly at first. They were all friendly.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, like, it always starts out friendly. They want you to be amazed by them, just like they want you to worship the aliens and say, "We're your friends. Worship us. Be good to it. Don't worry about your."
Well, I've never had them tell me to worship them. Like,
yeah, but think that they're good.
Worship them.
Yeah, I think that they're good.
I mean,
think that they're worthy.
So far, my experience. I mean, I'm not trying to discount like what you're saying. Like, I think there's definitely truth to that. Like, I don't have facts or like proof of anything. Like, but a lot of the like entities that will communicate with me are archangels. And at least they say they're archangels, Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael. And Usually they'll just give me guidance, or they'll tell me to like, sometimes they'll tell me to help someone that I don't know. Like if I'm walking past someone on the street, or like just I'll get like an intuitive nudge to like do something for someone, or to check on someone that like might not be okay, or like I'll just get a random like thought of like, hey,
That's good.
reach out to this person, like they're not okay. Like so it's usually shit like that where I feel like I'm being divinely guided. At least that's what it feels like. And like
Are they divinely, let me ask you real quick. Are they divinely guiding you in circumstances to like give people cigarettes ever?
No.
Okay.
No,
good.
it's usually like buy that person food and water.
Okay,
Or
that's good.
A lot of it is with homeless people, or like I work with a nonprofit that helps like homeless people get off drugs and shit for free and get off the streets. And like because when I was on drugs, I spent a lot of time with homeless people, and like my aunt was homeless, and it's actually the anniversary of her death today, but she got hit by a car begging for money on the side of the road. And so like I have a really strong connection to people on the streets, and like so sometimes I could see the entities on them. Like I could actually see that a lot of them have entities, which is really sad because I mean like it's I've helped people get rid of entities, but like for someone I don't know that has multiple entities, I'm too sensitive to try to do that because I don't want it to attach to me, or like, you know what I mean? It takes a lot of my energy. So like what I usually do is I just like humanize the person, because a lot of times people don't even talk to them. They won't even look in their direction. You know what I mean? Like, so I'll be guided to just like look them in the eye and say, hey, how are you doing today? Are you doing okay? Like I'm going into 7-Eleven. Do you want like a water? Do you want some food or something? And like, so it's usually things like that. Or like I'll give them my business card and be like, hey, if you want to get sober and off the street, like here's a phone number you can call. Like my friend who runs the rehab will pick you up for free. And like their whole it's very like Hispanic, so it's very like it's AA, but it's definitely like they believe in God and like Jesus, and it's like kind of a little bit more religious than just strictly AA. But so that's like the groups I'm working with, and like we put on events at churches, and so a lot of like the spiritual stuff I do is connected to like church and like Jesus and God, and like so but I mean that's what I'm saying, like that's just my personal experience. Like I'm not saying I haven't been contacted by demonic entities or fucked with, because I have, and I mean to my knowledge, I've been able to discern the difference. Like usually the energy feels different, or like they'll start making me feel scared, or they'll start gaslighting me into like being paranoid, and it usually won't even be an entity on me. It'll be someone I'm with that has an entity, and then I'll be like, I think you have an entity, bro. And they'll be like, oh my God, thank you for like, I thought I was going crazy. Like I felt I had something, but I didn't know for sure. And so like, sometimes I'll just be guided to tell people like, hey, go to someone and get rid of that. Or like, you know, you should pray more, or like, you should be living like, are you doing drugs? Are you fucking doing like low vibrational shit that's leaving you open to getting an attachment? Because a lot of times people are like, you know, they have trauma they haven't dealt with, or they're stealing, or they're on drugs, and that usually leaves you open spiritually to be taken over or get in a lower entity, dimensional, whatever, demonic attachment. And so, but I mean, one of the first guides that contacted me was an archangel, and he was just like telling me like that I had these gifts and that I had to use them to help people, and that like if I didn't use them to help people and I used them to manipulate people or to get things that I wanted, like money or some other bullshit, like that God was not going to be happy about it, and it was going to backfire on me. And it was kind of like this warning of like, you have this gift for a reason, you're here for a reason, and like God works through you to help other people. If you use that power in the wrong way, like it's not going to work out for you.
You know, it's really interesting. Like here's what I'll tell you. Like the Lord is probably talking to you, and he's probably giving you some of that stuff. And it's probably, it might be angels telling you those things. I wouldn't get too caught up in naming them, because angels don't give their names. Like never in the Bible do angels give their names. Like they're named like 3 times. That's it. And so like angels don't give their names. So maybe you might have gotten the wrong name given to you, or you might have perceived the wrong name, or whatever, you might have assumed the wrong name. And it may be your mind, but like angels are probably talking to you, bro. And there's probably the Lord talking to you, and it's probably guiding you, because the Lord guides us. Every good and perfect gift comes from him. So like if you ever have a good thought in your head, whether you think it's your own thought or not, it's not your own thought. It's the Lord's thought putting that in your head.
Totally.
So
and that's
like
what it feels like. That's what it truly feels like.
You're right. And so you're probably being the Lord's hands and feet in a way, like, because that's what we're all called to do as Christians. We're supposed to do that. There's so many Christians that don't do what you're doing. You know what I mean? There's so many Christians that don't hear, they hear that anointing, that little feeling to like, oh, I should help that person. They go, no, I'm not going to do that. They're probably on drugs. And they don't even care to help the person. They're like, they'll feel like, okay, I should give that person money. And they're like, no, they're going to probably go buy drugs with it. And then they don't do it. That's wickedness in that Christian, dude. And there's so many Christian people.
Dude, honestly, even when I've given money to homeless people and they're like, I'm going to use it for food. I'm like, honestly, I don't give a fuck what you use it for. I'm giving you this money to do with it's not about what you do with it or me controlling the outcome. Like, it's just about my part in being a decent human being and having some sort of sense of humanity for other people. You know what I mean? And the thing is like, if you're truly Christian and you live by the law and the values that Christ had, like, he was a light worker. He brought light into the dimmest places. He hung out with prostitutes and drug addicts and homeless people because those are the people that needed the most help. He didn't shun them and judge them and then like demean them. Like some people who are Christian and are like on their high horse. It's like, that's not what it's about, dude.
Yeah,
you're missing the whole fucking point. Like,
I wouldn't say Jesus is a light worker. I would never say that. But Jesus did bring the light, right? He brought the truth to everything, and I would say that like Jesus brought awareness to everybody. And like at me as a Christian, I would be like, hey, look, like Jesus brought revelation and understanding. And it wasn't like Jesus was going into the brothels. Jesus didn't go to the brothels, guys. He didn't go into the he didn't go into like the slums and the gutters necessarily. He went into the houses of the people that were broken, lost, but wanting freedom. This is the key. He went to the people that were wanting the freedom out of it, and so a lot of times there's a difference between like going into the wickedness, but like that, you're right. Jesus was bringing the joy and the peace to the love to the people that wanted the freedom. Like that's what they were wanting, that's what they didn't want to be. They didn't want to keep living the life.
I didn't mean like he was preaching or forcing people to believe. He definitely was being sought out, but he had this way to him, at least from what I've read in the Bible and other scripts, is that like he just wasn't judgmental. He wasn't like
he's not hating, he's not
like
judging
their
people
story
at all like
get
that.
in the way of him helping them and like being like a servant of God. You know what I mean? He was like, everyone is made from God. Who the fuck am I to judge them? If they want help and they want to change, like I'm gonna do that because that's like my fucking purpose.
Yeah, absolutely. He was not judgmental at all. He was loving and he loved people. And it's not our place as Christians, it's not our place to be judging what we do when we're being nudged to do something good for somebody. Like, bro, if the Lord nudged you to give money to some random homeless person, if he goes and buys drugs, that's on him. The Lord, you just do what the Lord tells you to do. And like Christians lose that, and it's so sad and unfortunate. Christians don't even know how to respond to that. So like just follow, love, and that's what Jesus taught. He says, obey these two commandments. Love your neighbor as yourself and love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. That's it. And if you follow these two commandments, everything else will fall into your thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yep.
It's
just a moral.
So I think it's a good way. I think it's a good way to end the show today. I think that was a good, that
was perfect. That was very well said.
It was a good ending stuff. And I appreciate you guys coming on here like last minute and stuff, doing a Monday thing.
Of course.
And appreciate Rumble. We got like almost 2,000 people watching live just on Rumble, which is impressive. Man.
Nice.
So,
Hell yeah.
Nobody used to watch this. So when I get thousands of people watching live,
yes, follow us. Follow us if you're watching. Follow us on Rumble. Follow us on Insta. Follow us on, what is it, the other one? X? Twitter? I don't know.
Yeah, throw whatever you guys want before we get out of here. Another great talk with I thought it was nice. If you guys want to throw out stuff before we get out of here, feel free. If not, we're about the hour mark. So
yep, you guys, whatever. You guys can follow me, Demonerasers, Christian, cast out demons. If you need prayer, I think. Wait,
there you go. Hell yeah!
That's the best. That's the best.
Google me, whatever. Unfollow me, follow me back, block me. I don't really give a shit.
Cool. Well, I'll be back tomorrow night. I think I'm talking shapeshifters tomorrow night, so that's gonna be an interesting talk.
Wow, that's a fun topic.
I always love listening to. I'm just sitting there like a nerd listening to an author talk about a product. But again, thank you all for watching. And Jenny in the comments watching again. That's appreciate y'all. But yeah, no, thank you all for watching.
Yeah.
Thanks for spending your Monday like this. I know it's kind of a late random thing, but a lot of people seem to watch it. So thank you all. And I'm gonna get out of here, get some sleep, and be back tomorrow. So God bless you all.
Okay,
All
bet.
dreams come true.
Nice talking to you guys.
All right.
Love you. Talk to you
Later.
later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.